All right, cheers.
Cheers.
I gotta say, I really like this new table.
Yeah. There's a couple things I like about it. First of all, you guys get to see like our actual face instead of like. So I was
instead of talking like this.
Well, yeah, I was saying off camera how. I mean, I'm a fat guy, but like I just like my side profile.
Yeah.
I feel like
Got a bit of a fat head.
Yeah, a little bit, but it feels more fat from the side.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys, do you like Austin when he looks at the camera or to the side of the camera? Do you like the yokogao or the komi? How do you say like the front? Yokogao no janakute. How do you say the front face, frontal? Shoumen. Okay. Tell us which one you like more.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, we got a new table and this is nice. And I hopefully this will help us get more guests. You know, when we do like 3 people, it'd be a lot easier.
The other thing that I like though about it is it's lower.
Yeah.
So, because I feel like the other table we were kind of like up like this the whole time, but here it's a little bit more chill.
It is a little bit more chill. Pretty
Yeah.
soon we're gonna change the light. We're gonna try to make this more of like more relaxed atmosphere.
Yeah.
Finally, now that we have like 170 friends and like we have a ton of subscribers now, like this past year, a lot of things have changed. You know,
a lot of stuff has changed, man. Yeah. Can you believe? I know we're gonna jump into the episode, but like, can you believe we've been doing this for almost 4 years?
3 years.
Oh, three
years.
three,
Yeah,
three.
we started in 2021.
Yeah, it's like we're almost at 3.5 though.
Yeah, we are because we started in the summer,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, dude, we were doing this like out of your house when we started, and it was just like, now here we are.
Well, it's because, dude, once again, you know, one time you used to come over to our house back when we were friends and our business partners.
Yeah.
And no, we still hang out sometimes. But and then you were telling a story, and my wife was just listening to you because you're such a good storyteller. I was like, yeah, it's a podcast.
Snap that up! I want to make money off this man.
Well, okay, well, don't say that because we're not really making much money from this.
We got a new table. We're making enough to get a table.
We're making enough to get a table, not enough to make this a job. You know.
Oh God,
but it's a nice hobby though.
It is.
But anyways, today, what's our topic going to be?
We're going to talk about Omotenashi.
Omotenashi,
or in English, hospitality here in Japan. Because I think of all the countries in the world, Japan's like that's what Japan's like known for.
Yeah,
right?
well, I think it was like every year they have like a kanji master or a calligraphy master come out and give like the word of the year or something. And in 2020, it was Omotenashi or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Omotenashi is a uniquely Japanese thing.
Yeah. Kind of like.
I mean, the way that Japanese
it's said
the way that Japanese people do hospitality is very unique.
I agree.
And I think that's why people think, Omotenashi is a Japanese thing.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today is because while I do like Japanese Omotenashi, some foreigners do not like Japanese hospitality. And I want to kind of share like a quick story about what made me think about this. So this is way back 10 years ago when I was still studying abroad here. And it's a pretty tight cap. Oh, but we forgot to talk about this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dasai 39.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Muroka.
by the way, this is really good.
This is really good.
I really like. We don't really get fermented sake all that often, and for me, this is kind of like always like a really a treat.
Yeah, this is Dasai Sanjukyu. So, yeah, the person, what is it? So, Ai-san gave this to us. Thank you very much, Ai-san.
Which, by the way, you have great taste in sake because last time she sent some
from Fukuoka.
That was really good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, so please send us more. Just don't go into debt because you sent us some expensive stuff. But as long as you can do it financially, please send us sake every week. I'll put in an order for you. But
be careful, she might actually do that.
And then that'd be awesome, wouldn't that be? That'd be awesome.
Oh, this sake is really good.
Yeah,
though.
we do have a couple other people who like regularly send us sake too. But this one person though, I got to tell you. So, one person said that we should put the empty bottles that we've drunk on like the wall. So you can kind of see.
Oh, that could be kind of neat.
That'd be a nice idea.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we just hit another 10,000 more subscribers, we can afford a shelf.
Yeah, we can afford a shelf. Yeah. We've been in the red on this channel for a long time, and finally we're in Kuroji. But Kuroji is like 2,000 yen a month.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you, But yeah, so a story about man, you're just guzzling that down.
It's so good, man. I can't stop myself.
I get it, but save some for me, man.
Well, drink faster.
Guys, this is why I always get boro drunk when I talk with Austin. You guys should see after we're done filming, I have to lie down for a while because yeah.
He actually has a bed here.
I do have a mattress here, a futon here that I lie down on when I'm incapacitated afterwards. But anyway, so for the third time, trying to get into my story about Omotenashi.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna tell a story.
Yeah. So 10 years ago, I had a friend from Canada who was half Japanese, half Canadian, and his mom was Canadian. Actually, no, his mom was American and his dad is Japanese. And I went to their house one time, and his mom has been in Japan for a long time. You know, she's married to a Japanese person, and she was telling me about her experience going to a Ryokan during the fall season and how it was supposed to be awesome because it was very expensive, but she hated it. She hated going to the Ryokan because there were rules for everything.
Okay. Continue. I want to talk about my experience at Ryokan.
Yeah, we can. And I think that's good because Ryokan kind of are like the poster board for Omotenashi in Japan.
Yeah.
But for her, she felt like it was such a pain because everything was regimented.
Yep.
You had like a 3-hour window that you could arrive, and when you arrived, you had to like take your shoes off and leave them somewhere. And then you had to reserve when you're going to take the rotenburo outside, when you're going to do that open air ofuro outside. And because it was already reserved, there was only like 2 options left. And then they had like a 30-minute window where they could have breakfast from like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So they couldn't have it later.
Yeah.
And there were all these rules of things that they had to do, things that they couldn't do. And it was insufferable for her because she said, I just want to relax. But now I have all these rules I need to think about.
Yep.
So that's what made me think about this topic. But what's your experience?
Well, I mean, my experience was really similar. I used to do a lot of summer camp trips with my school.
Yeah.
And so every summer after the term ended, we would go and usually take like 30 students up to a Ryokan up in Nagoya.
Nagoya, okay.
And by the way, Nagoya is a really great place in the summer. Like I know it's kind of famous for.
Are you saying Nagano or Nagoya?
Or sorry, not Nagoya, Nagano.
Nagano.
Yeah.
Very different, man.
Very different. Completely opposite directions in Japan.
I know when you said up to Nagoya.
Yeah.
Nagoya's west.
Yeah. But anyways, so we would go up to Nagano, and by the way, like I was saying, it's that place is famous for like the Winter Olympics that was hosted there a while back, right? And it's kind of famous for like winter stuff, but actually like it's beautiful during the summer.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with bugs because you are up in the mountains, but anyways, we went up there, and we went to this what's it, the Furusato?
Furusato?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's like the big old fashioned like hotels.
Isn't that ryokan?
Yeah, but isn't it called Furusato?
No, Furusato just means like your hometown where you're from.
Oh, okay.
Like
okay.
Furusato Noze is when you pay some tax to like non-Tokyo municipalities.
Anyways, this place was called like Furusato something.
Okay, yeah.
So
I probably wanted to make like an old homely feel, like, oh, this is where you grew up or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. So anyways, we go to this ryokan, and we pull in, and the place is beautiful. Yeah. And like I think if any ryokan you go to in Japan is going to really make an effort to like feel like really old fashioned, because that's kind of the experience that people are looking for when they go there. But there's a lot of rules. First of all, you can't really wear shoes inside.
Yeah.
Like you get given a pair of sandals or slippers. And I'm going to be honest, like this is probably a problem that many Japanese people don't have, but I have big feet.
Me too. I can't fit in the slippers here.
I am a size 30.
Yeah.
They don't have size 30 slippers in Japan.
Your pinky toes always stick out.
Oh my god, it sucks. Or either that or my toes get squished and then my heel is like sticking out.
Yeah, right. So your heel is touching the ground.
Sucks so much.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then a couple of the experiences were kind of similar to your friend's story where like lights out is kind of like at a strict time and you can't do anything inside your room.
Yeah.
Like after I think at our place it was like after 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Like you can't have the TV on.
Really?
No.
Man, that sucks.
It was like, I mean, it makes sense because like the walls next to you are just paper.
Yeah, right.
Right? So, you know, you don't want to like be disturbing people next to you, but yeah, so you know, we had breakfast and dinner with similar things. Like I think we had a 45-minute window.
Yeah.
But there's a very narrow window where you can go eat stuff.
Yeah, right.
And if you miss that window, then it's like that's
too bad.
That's it.
You missed your chance.
And, like it's not like, oh, it's no big deal. Just pop over to the community. Like, no, you're in the middle of the forest in the countryside.
Yeah.
Like it's a 30 to 40 minute drive anywhere.
Yeah.
So if you miss a meal, like you're just not eating.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal. And I think from a Western perspective, and I think I can identify with this too, because this is kind of how I felt, is it's just like when I'm going on vacation, I want to go somewhere where I can shut my brain off.
Yeah. Right.
And there's no schedules or nothing, and I just kind of do what I want when I want to do it. And I think that's a very like Western mentality for vacation.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Like, okay, this just hit me now because this kind of goes back to I think what I first experienced when we did oshogatsu in Japan.
Yeah,
because you know during the holidays you like to relax, but I didn't realize that in Japan for oshogatsu for the New Year, a lot of people really just do nothing.
Yeah.
They just sit and eat and watch TV. Like they don't do anything. I'm thinking, oh, you guys want to go for a walk? And they're like, huh? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to, I think, it's kind of hospitality aspect too, because what you want to do is you want to shut your brain off and just be free to do whatever you want. But in Japan, for you to relax at Ryokan means you do nothing.
Yeah.
You like sit in your room or you go to the ofuro and you do nothing, you know? And so that's kind of like the assumption of what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think the idea is to kind of like escape your daily trappings, right? Where you're just literally going somewhere to escape everything and really just, like you said, do nothing where like you can kind of focus on your inner self, right?
Yeah.
But man,
what if you want to go for a walk outside? You know,
I just don't want to do that.
Yeah. So let's. Oh yeah, sorry.
I'm finished.
Okay, so let's contrast that with like American hospitality, because we kind of established that Japan hospitality, you have all these rules so that you don't really have to do anything.
So I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna make this comparison, and I'm kind of curious if you're gonna agree with me now.
I already disagree.
Okay. I think the American version of a ryokan is a bed and breakfast.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Yeah. A bed and breakfast. What can you just explain what a bed and breakfast is?
So I don't even think this is uniquely American. I think they have these in Europe too.
Yeah.
But these are very common in America, and I think maybe not a whole lot now that they have what's that app? Airbnb,
which is bed and
breakfast.
Yeah.
But it's different though, because you just end up renting out someone's apartment. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
But bed and breakfast is basically, it's like usually an older couple will rent out part of their rooms in their house.
Part of their house. Yeah.
And you can go stay there, and it's literally what the name is called. It's bed. You purchase like a bed for the night. And you wake up and you can have breakfast.
And it's not like an actual like hotel atmosphere. It's someone's home.
It's literally someone's home. So often they will make breakfast for you, but you don't get to decide when breakfast is.
Yeah.
Right? They're just like, we have breakfast. You can participate in this or not.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I think that's really similar to kind of like Omotenashi culture with ryokans and, you know, that experience here in Japan.
I would also say that that's actually really similar to in Japan. They have something called minpaku. which is kind of like Ryokan, but it's someone's house, like their house. They kind of rent out part of their house.
Oh, really?
But they bring the breakfast to your room, and there's a little bit more higher service, I think, than a bed and breakfast.
Yeah. Another thing that I think is kind of part of this culture here is like the communal part of it, where I feel like I never have a moment of privacy.
In Japan?
Not in Japan, but I mean like if I'm staying at a Ryokan. I feel like I don't have privacy, and I think it comes from the fact that like the walls are really thin, and when we're eating, we're eating in a big like room, and all the other guests are eating in the same room. When you're bathing in a large bathroom with all the other guests. So I
and a big thing, just a big thing for me too. And this maybe seems like nothing to a lot of Japanese people, but the fact that when you leave your room to go to dinner, your room is the way it is. And when you come back, the futon's all laid out for you, which means while you were eating dinner, someone has come into your room and has put out the beds for you. Yeah. And something about that in my mind is like, oh, someone just came into my private space.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So I think that comes from the fact that Western culture, we like to do stuff ourselves.
Yeah.
And, it's like when I come back to my room and the bed's all made, it's like, I want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I want to like prepare for bed.
Yeah. Like it's funny because like at a hotel, right? You have people come in and make your bed sometimes, but there's something's different about someone coming in and like fixing your bed versus like they bring out your bed and they just put it on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a different thing. Cause like when you go into a hotel room, your bed's already there and it's like prepared. So it's like, I feel like a hotel room, I feel like I'm buying a package.
Yeah.
And the made bed is part of the package, right?
Right.
Versus
when you get there, it's made.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it just kind of hits a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we've been kind of complaining a lot, but there are parts of it that I like. And I do want to highlight some of the things that I really like.
So before we get into that, though, I want to try to get back to my original question to you, which was, how do you feel like hospitality is different in the United States? Because like for me personally, the way that I see it is, it's kind of like my mom, by the way, is very good at hospitality.
Yeah.
Mom, thanks for always watching.
Hey guys, if you've watched this far, you're going to love our Austin and Arthur friends.
In the Austin and Arthur friends, you're going to really improve your English listening. And I mean a lot.
Yeah. So for each episode, you'll get English and Japanese subtitles, so you can check your listening and comprehension.
You'll also get access to a members-only community where you can talk with us, the both of us. Mainly me, right?
No, definitely not. For more info, click on the link here, or in the description box of this video.
Thanks for being our friend.
Woo!
I have no friends. She loves watching this channel. But when I have friends over, or when my wife Natsumi first came over, she would say, "Natsumi, this house is your house. You don't need to ask me for anything. If you want to eat something from the fridge, go get it."
Yeah, my parents said the same thing with my wife.
And one thing that we do in the States, I don't know if your family does this, but we do this, is we kind of give them a tour of the house.
Yeah.
So they know where everything is. And we say, okay, you know where everything is. This is your house.
Yes.
Do whatever you want. We're not going to wait on you.
Yes.
You're your own person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that, it's kind of funny you mentioned that because like we've had a lot of exchange students stay at my house like back when I was younger. And, we do that. Yeah. Or we did that. And I think a lot of Japanese people are really intimidated by that. Where it's like, you're saying I could just do anything here?
Yeah. Can I just take someone from the fridge? Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Is that okay? And then it's like every single time they'll ask about it. And it's like, dude, it's fine.
Yeah, you don't have to ask. We told you don't have to ask.
And it's like, it's the opposite when you come over here, right? Where it's just like, I don't need you to make my bed. Like, I'm an adult. I can do that.
Yeah. And it's like everything is so regimented.
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
And so the thing, like kind of like what you just shared is really telling, because having that regimented lifestyle is good for people who want the rules laid out and who want to who don't really have a lot of like independence. They just kind of want to follow what everyone else is doing.
Or they don't want to. I feel like there's a lot of safety in being like in a place with rules, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
I feel like part of the feeling of like going into a place like that here, like a Ryokan, is not having to worry about things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is going to be taken care of for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I do kind of get that. Yeah. I personally, I don't enjoy it, but I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I've really, like when I first came to Japan, not just about Ryokan, but also like when you would go buy a coffee or something or when you'd go and someone at the register, you know, you notice how like everyone, they always tell you the amount. When they get the money, they say 何々お預かりします、何々お返しですとか。
Yeah.
They like say every single aspect of it, and it feels so regimented. And when I first experienced that in Japan, I was thinking, man, this sucks. Like I feel so much pressure. Like I have to pay attention to all these things. People are saying so much to me. Everything feels so regimented. But now it's like I can actually just turn my brain off and I can just do whatever they tell me to, and everything's going to be fine.
You know, it's funny that you say that because like. I mean, I speak a bit of Japanese here. I'm not fluent, but like conversationally, I can speak Japanese. And when I'm at the cash register, like all the time here, I've always been able to shut my brain off.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh, yep, I gave you sen. You're telling me I gave you sen. Okay, give me my change. All right, great, thank you. Arigato gozaimasu.
Yeah,
like I do. It's not that I like that, but. I don't know. It's comfort.
Yeah, because it's like you really don't have to worry because everything is taken care of for you, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of like, you know, it goes back to the whole traffic thing, you know? When I first got here and like there would be a little bit of road construction. In the States, they would have 2 guys, and in Japan, they have 5 guys.
Yeah.
You know, and people would be like, why do you have so many people? But the funny thing is like, they all talk to you and say, please stand here, please walk here, please go here. Like you're checked 3 times. So I really can just shut my brain off and just do what I'm told and everything is fine, you know? Whereas in the States, it's like you have to kind of watch out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's how do you feel about like service at restaurants here? So like I'm not talking about like your typical izakaya where, you know, you got to like yell halfway across the room because the bartender's like, you know, super busy. But I'm talking about like if you go to like traditional restaurants here, where like they have a very limited menu, and you don't really make any decisions when you go. You go there and you sit down, and then they just go through and like serve you stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you know, how do you feel about those?
So the thing I like about the service here is, one, there's no tip. And so they're not trying to like get on your good side.
Yeah.
For more tips.
Dude,
and
we should do a whole episode on tips.
We should do an episode.
I hate tips. I hate them.
I do.
I hate them so much.
We should talk about why tips are the bane of.
They're just God.
And it's getting worse. Now.
It is.
Okay, that's going to be a topic.
Oh man, I get emotional.
We're gonna talk about tipping culture in America and how much it sucks. I talked about it with my dad once, but I want to talk to you about it too.
I hate tips so much.
But yeah, so the thing in Japan is it's kind of like they have a lot of rules about being attentive. And so, you know, it goes back to like what my dad said is that the people, they don't speak to you, they speak at you because what they're doing is they're just following the guidebook that they have of I need to say this at this timing.
Yep.
But the thing is that it covers all the bases.
It does.
And I'm not trying to be friends with my waiter.
No.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's a nice baseline of service.
Yeah.
And it's great. I don't have to pay a tip. Whereas in America, I remember like when the waiters or waitresses would come by and be like, how are you guys doing today? Oh man, I would love to hear more about you. And they're pretending to be your friend and stuff. And
it's just like, can you go away?
Yeah, I just want to eat my food.
Just give me my beer and you know, go away.
Yeah. So it's more robotic, but it's more chill. I like that. You know.
Yeah. So personally, I mean that kind of goes back into like izakaya culture where it's like just really just like bing 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 bing.
Mm-hmm.
You're just enjoying things.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I I'm remembering back when I went with my wife to Kyoto, and they're probably going to be watching. Well, actually, she's going to be back from Oita by the time she watches this video. So
okay,
but her parents are going to be watching this video, anyways. So my wife and I went to this really cool restaurant in Kyoto that was like hung up above this river.
Okay. Was it not? Wasn't it Kamogawa?
No. Oh. This wasn't like a big river. It's like more like a creek.
Okay.
And it was up in the mountainside near not Fushimi Inari, but one of the other ones. I like that sound.
Yeah, I like this. This is a nice table.
This is a good table.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're up there and we were renting out kimono for the day. So, you know, we were all dressed up and my wife looked gorgeous. I look pretty good in kimono. I'm not gonna lie.
You look whatever.
No, I actually do look good in a kimono. We had like a blue and red one for me, and I was like, you look good. You look good.
Was there white in there too, and then you can be American?
A little bit actually. Yeah, I bring the white.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
man.
But anyways, so we were sitting down and everything, right? And we were given this menu. And I remember looking over the menu and it wasn't really a menu. It was just like, this is what you're getting.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Really?
I want choice.
No, I get that.
I want choice. Like I want to have some kind of agency in my experience. And I think that's something that really bothers me about like Omotenashi culture here is I feel like my agency is taken away, and that's probably a very American thing.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like, you know, I probably will get some comments like, you just need to be more Japanese, and you're probably not wrong. But it's something I just can't connect with on that.
Well, yeah. So I'm kind of torn between that a little bit, because if you have someone who is truly an artist or a master, they will know what you want better than yourself. It's like if Henry Ford asked the farmers what they wanted, they would have said, I want a faster horse. But he like made the automobile for them, you know? And he actually made the automobile as like a farmer's car. Like he made it accessible to everyone. And it's the same thing with Steve Jobs, you know? It's like, what can we do? Oh, I want you to make a better CD player, but he made an iPod, you know?
Yeah.
So if you're a real master, you can make some really good stuff, but some people think they're better than they actually are.
So I would actually argue that they're selling a product, and what I was going for was selling an experience.
Okay.
But I want to make my own experiences. I don't want to buy an experience.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like I was thinking about this the other day about how, and we talked about this, how, I mean, DIY culture is becoming a thing in Japan now, but it's very much an American thing.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
Like my wife had never painted our house, a room before we did, right? But I've done it so many times. So I feel like in America, we have this real like, let's do it for ourselves. I'm going to do things myself kind of mentality. Whereas most old world countries are like, oh, I'll have someone else do it for me. You know?
Yeah. Well, it comes from like caste systems and you know, that whole thing. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think as a tourist, Omotenashi is really fun. Yeah. I think living here, for me personally, it gets really tiring. Yeah. And I do not enjoy it, and it's not something I will do if I like. It's something I will do if my wife wants to go somewhere, or if my school's wanting me to go somewhere. But if like I'm planning a vacation, that's not what I'm planning.
Yeah. No, I get that, you know. So I'm kind of on the other side of that because, you know, as a business owner, I have to make so many decisions in the day. Yeah. And there is such a thing as decision fatigue.
Oh, there is. So 100%.
And so I want to save my brain power for the decisions that I have the most influence over pertaining to my business. So I don't really want to think about anything else. Yeah. And so I've come to love Japanese Omotenashi culture a lot more because I don't have to think about anything like, oh, is my train going to come? Is it not going to come? No, it's always on time.
Arthur's a big, sophisticated, smart salary
I am not a sophisticated man. But the thing is that, no, actually though, I I realized like one of the things that's been holding me back in my work is I try to do things by myself.
Yeah.
And like even yesterday, you know, there was a task that I've done for years. And I was thinking, I can do this myself. Why should I give it to someone else? But then I finally gave it to someone else, and I thought, man, I save like 2 hours every week. You know, that's a decent amount, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, that's kind of why I like things here, you know? But I mean, it depends. I feel like if you're an employee or you're like a salary man where your income is decided and your work is decided, then probably I would want to do a lot of things myself. But now I realize like my mind is so important. So I need to like save my mental capacities for like things that'll make things better.
Yeah.
So that's why I want other people to do the thinking for me so I don't have to think.
I mean, fair. Just kind of to close things off.
Yeah.
Like going back into who I am as a person. I have never planned a vacation.
Really?
Yeah. So every time I go somewhere, we just go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like a really famous thing is like when I was like about 10 years ago, I was in college and I just bought a plane ticket to Japan.
Oh, really?
I wanted to come to Japan, and you know, at that point, it's been like 10 years, or almost 10 years since I had been to Japan, and you know, I think this was my senior year, and I wanted to make sure that this was still a place that I wanted to move to, and so I bought a plane ticket in Japan, and it was really bad timing. Actually, I bought it like I think for October.
Okay.
I think actually this time because I spent Halloween in Japan, and it was like midterm.
How long ago was it?
This would be back in 2016.
16. Okay.
Yeah. So almost 10 years ago.
Yeah. Dude, 8 years ago, man.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, this was like midterm. Like I didn't even tell any of my professors that I was leaving. I just left for 2 weeks, and they're just like, "You haven't shown up to class. Like, you need to contact us." And I'm like, "Oh, I got a business trip to Japan." Yeah, I didn't have a business trip. It was just me going.
Came over.
But I bought the plane ticket, and I was like really indecisive about actually going. Like even the morning of, I was like, dude, you know what? If I just didn't show up, whatever.
It didn't show up to
the plane. I was like, this was such a dumb decision. But then I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to go with it. And so I came to Japan with no hotel booked, no plans at all.
Man.
And I showed up, and I went from I took the train from Narita over to Tokyo Station and sat in a Starbucks for like 4 hours, just like, all right, I'm here. Like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess I should get a hotel because it's like 8 p.m. now. So I just went online and just bought a hotel really quick, and then, you know, took a cab over to get the hotel, and then like sat, and I'm like, okay, I'm here. So I guess I'll start contacting people and just see where that goes. So it actually ended up being a really great trip because like I went out to Gifu and I saw like some old students of mine that back when I was running my homestay program. Yeah. I taught them. So like I stayed at their house, and they had this like house in Gifu, and it was pretty nice. And then I met some friends in Tokyo, and like I met my host family. And so it actually turned out to be a really great trip. But like my point is, I decided what I got to do. You decided
everything, right?
It's like I feel like it's dying down, but there's still this like thing in Japan where, okay, we're gonna go to America, so we're gonna book with like a tourist organization
JTB,
that's gonna plan out all the places that we're gonna go. And to be fair, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
it's fine. But there's so many like hidden experiences that you just don't get to have when everything's planned out for you. Yeah. Right. You know, there's like I don't get to try food that I wanted to try. Yeah. You know, I don't get to go to the places. I don't get to set my schedule during my day. And it's like I feel like when you're with a place that's like doing a Omotenashi culture here, it's very regimented.
Yeah.
And so like you don't get to plan out your stuff.
Unless you pay the big bucks, and then you can get an experience you wouldn't normally get.
Yeah.
But that's if you pay the big bucks.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, with that being said, I think it's something everyone should appreciate.
Yeah.
Because you just really can't experience this in another country.
Yeah.
Like can you think of another country that really like does the same?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. So like, for me, I really like Omotenashi culture in Japan. I've learned to like it. It's really great. But there are still some people who feel like it's like handcuffs. You know, like you can't move around well enough. But I wish that those people would understand, like, just follow the rules. Don't think.
I don't want to follow the rules.
Just give yourself over to the experience.
I want to go be homeless for a day. That's what I want to do.
Then go to America. You'll be great over there. All right, man. I think this is good. What are we talking about next time?
You know what? Let's talk about tipping.
We'll talk about tipping culture.
We're going to talk about something else, but like I have so much vitriol built up.
I hate tipping so much.
I'm trying not to swear.
We're going to talk about...
I hate tipping so much.
We're going to talk about tipping culture and why we hate it, and why some American tourists are trying to start tipping culture in America, and I want them to die.
You mean in Japan?
In Japan.
Yeah.
I want them to die.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're starting tipping culture in America,
okay,
watch out.
If you're watching this video and you're thinking about coming to Japan, don't tip anyone ever. We'll talk about that more next time.
Yeah.
All right. See you, man.